I'm on my way to the Grand Egyptian Museum. Super freaking excited. This is the first time I'm going after they publicly opened the doors on November 4th. Interestingly, November 4th was when Tutankhamun's tomb in the Valley of Kings in Luxor was discovered. The two exhibits that were open with the opening of the doors on November 4th are the Tutankhamun Exhibition, for the first time ever showing all 5,000 plus artifacts from the tomb of Tutankhamun discovered in 1922. And the other one is the solar boat of Khufu. They renovated it and dusted it off. I think it cost about $5 million. Let's go check it out. There it is. I couldn't beat the crowds, but we're here. Let's do it! Wow. The museum building itself is actually very impressive. Alabaster hieroglyphics. So that's kind of translucent alabaster. So when the sun hits it, it's going to give off a very nice glow. And there you have hieroglyphics. I wonder what it means. Or is it just random? I don't know. There's one like missing one. It's probably a secret tunnel to the afterlife. And it's actually supposed to represent the three pyramids. There's the first, there's the second, and then there's the third. What a beautiful entrance. You're greeted by an 11-meter red granite statue of Ramses the Great. Ramses number 2. What a freaking amazing sight. Holy crap. He stands larger than life. Literally. For eternity. So it's a modern architecture with, it's somehow elegantly merged with the elements, like air, sunlight, water. There's like these little waterfalls everywhere that give this very tranquil vibe to it. And the lighting is mostly, at this time of day, natural illumination, but there's spotlights, like key spotlights that add effect to a lot of the artifacts on display. Really beautifully designed. And he sits in a triangle of water. Of course, you're going to see a lot of triangles in this museum because, you know, pyramids. But look at the water he's on. That's pretty cool, isn't it? There's actually this mist you can see. I don't know if you can see it, but there's this fog or mist in the air. Oh, that's so cool. That shows you how big it is, right? Oops. Oh, the craze is real. Everybody's like, you know, crowding around the statues to get pictures. And now we're about to go on the grand staircase. It's divided into 4 different sections. It culminates with the huge ass window over there that shows King Khufu's pyramid. So this is a colossal statue of a Middle Kingdom king. And then this is Hatshepsut, beautiful statue of Hatshepsut, the most powerful female pharaoh. Oh, that's Akhenaton, the father of Tutankhamun. They said he had some kind of disease, and that's why he had this kind of horse-shaped head. So the grand staircase is divided up into royal image, so depictions and statues and sculptures of the kings, followed by divine houses. So here we have like entranceways into like temples and tombs. And then the third section is gods and kings. So representation of the king and his relationship with gods and religion. And then the final section up there is the funerary section, which has the sarcophaguses. Well, that looks like 2 obelisks put together. And that's the top of an obelisk. I think that was for Hatshepsut as well. This is the obelisk tip of Hatshepsut. Oh, look at that. That's her. The most powerful female pharaoh. She did a lot for Egypt. She sent out like caravans to collect spices and animal skins and animals from the rest of Africa. She was very, very successful. Look at the hieroglyphics here. It's so exquisite. There's a cartouche up there. I think it says like, comment and subscribe. Some of these are absolutely gorgeous. I think the last one over there I saw last time. This is actually quartzite. Quartzite is exceedingly strong. And this was Tutmosis I's sarcophagus found at Thebes, which today is Luxor. This is so beautiful. So Tutmosis I, I think, was Hatshepsut's father. And that's the gorgeous window. So this is how the museum is organized. From society, kingship, and beliefs, and then goes from pre-dynastic, prehistoric period to the Middle Kingdom, and then the New Kingdom, and then the Third Intermediate Period, Late Period, and the Greco-Roman period. So I've got 12 galleries here. These were open before November 4th, but the new ones are the Tutankhamun Exhibit and the Solar Boat of Khufu. And I gotta show you this. Guys. So apparently number 2 is from between about 700,000 to 250,000 BC. Number 2 is that big one on the top there. That's from prehistory. That's from way before the pharaohs. It's crazy. Okay, proof that there's aliens, guys.
Trying to show every single artifact in this museum is virtually impossible. There are over 100,000 artifacts, 50,000 of which are on display. After all, this museum cost about $1.2 billion and took approximately 20 years to build. We'll explore highlights from the 12 main galleries and then dive into the newly opened Tutankhamun Exhibit and finish with Khufu's breathtaking solar boat.
Oh, this is a nice depiction of how tombs evolved over time. So they started from these small mastabas, and then that became a mastaba, and then it became the step pyramid, and then it became the bent pyramid because of some issue with the construction midway through, and then the regular pyramid, and then the internals of the pyramid kind of evolved after that. This museum is like sensory overload. There is an insane amount of stuff here. Like everywhere I look. Like, look at this. What is this? Well, that's literally a bed and a chair. Hetepheres is the mother of King Khufu, and I believe her pyramid was built next to his. She was married to King Snefru, who probably made most of the pyramids out of any other king. There's a beautiful statue of a Queen Hatshepsut here. This place is like, for historians and archaeology, this is a gold mine. Over here, this is one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen in my life. This is a mummified crocodile. Over 2,000 years old crocodile mummy. Oh my god. What the freaking F? Yo, that reminds me of the mummy in the movie, the latest mummy movie. I think he was saying that looks a bit Japanese. So archaeologists are thinking that there was some link between Japan and ancient Egypt. Looks like a samurai, right? What's this in the hand? The black thing on the hand. This is gorgeous, man. This is the sarcophagus of General Padiswarawi. Wait, let me go and read his name again. Padimasatawi. Padisematawi. Look at it. Isn't that incredible? It's made of a material called schist. I think it's time to see Tut. But before that, I want to show you this diorite sarcophagus. It's the most perfect sarcophagus I've ever seen. And it's made of diorite, which is a exceedingly strong stone. I think it's the sarcophagus of Nespita, who is, I think was a minister. Look at how beautiful the hieroglyphics are. And then look at this. Look at these steles or stelas. So all this you see here is hieroglyphics, right? Hieroglyphics. And that's King Ptolemy III. Oh, shit. Almost tripped and went headfirst into this stela or stele. But on the side here, you see the written script called Demotic. I think it comes from the Latin word demus or demma, which is of the people. And so you have the hieroglyphics, which were like ceremonial scripts and texts, but then Demotic was like the everyday kind of scripture. Okay, I think this is it. I think this is the Tutankhamun Exhibit. Oh my god. This is the beginning of over 5,000 artifacts found in Tutankhamun's tomb, and the first time they're all on display. Previously in the old museum they had about 1,800, but now all artifacts are on display. And there were over 400 Shabtis in Tutankhamun's tomb, and Shabtis were little statues that magically came to life in the afterlife and served the king so he could live in happiness and peace in eternity. Make him a little cocktail and stuff like that. What the freaking F is that? Oh my god, they made them little miniature tools. Oh, so Imseti, Duamotep, Hapi, Keben, Hesenweth were the four sons of Horus that protected the dead and his organs in the afterlife and made sure that he didn't suffer from hunger or thirst. It's not really clear why Tutankhamun was provided with two statues of Duamutef. Maybe the other ones were stolen. What's not known about the Tutankhamun tomb is because it's so rich with content, it was actually robbed twice in antiquity. Once, the first time they stole like perishables, like food, oils, things that they could use in everyday life. And the second time it was a bit more elaborate and they stole a lot more. I don't know, I was reading on the internet that they stole up to 60% of the treasure in Tutankhamun's tomb. I doubt that's accurate, but they concluded that. That means that there was even more than all of this. And then after the robberies, the necropolis guards resealed the tomb. And so this is the first of the golden shrines. And this was almost the size of the burial chamber in which Howard Carter found Tutankhamun's sarcophagus and coffins. The turquoise there is the precious stone turquoise. Dude, no expense was spared to bury this king, despite the fact that he was actually buried in haste. They didn't expect him to die, and then they were building a lot of these things for, they believe, Nefertiti. But then when he died, they're like, okay, we're going to kind of reuse this. And we'll see the mask. They believe the mask has female features and earrings, and some on some of the artifacts here, there's like where they kind of erased some of the stuff and then wrote Tutankhamun's name. And so they believe that all of this was kind of built for Nefertiti and then repurposed for Tutankhamun. So there's actually 4 shrines, each one wood with gold leaf cover. And then there's 3 coffins. The first 2 are again wood with covered by golden leaf. And the last one, inner coffin, is solid gold. And then the mummy and then the mask, the golden burial mask. And they're like a series of Russian dolls, each one smaller than the other and each one fitting in the larger. Like the gold and the turquoise color together are just absolutely gorgeous. You can see the wood underneath right there. And that's his cartouche right there. That's his name. Tutankh. See the Ankh right there, the key of life. Tutankhamun. So obviously the ancient Egyptians assembled it inside the burial chamber, but Howard Carter in 1922 had to go in and disassemble it to get into the coffin and sarcophagus. And this is the second one. No turquoise here. This is one of the most beautiful things I've seen. Look at that. I have never seen anything so beautiful. Freaking F. I think it's describing the burial of the king. So yeah, 4 shrine boxes made of wood. I wonder what wood it is. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if it's cedar wood imported from Lebanon. And gold leaf covering. Here we come to the sarcophaguses. So this is the outermost one. This is again wood and gold leaf. Oh, there was this black goo on the covering it before they cleaned it off. And then you have the vulture and the cobra. vulture representing Upper Egypt, the cobra representing Lower Egypt. Look how his tail comes back. Look at that. And then you have the crook and flail. The crook represents like as kind of a shepherd of his people, and the flail represented, it was kind of a whip, a beaded whip, represented order and like discipline as a ruler. And then the white of his eyes was calcite, and the black was obsidian, and the blue is either, I think the darker blue is lapis lazuli, and the brighter one is sometimes it's turquoise, sometimes it's something else. So that's the big one that we just saw, and then this is the smaller one, very heavily decorated. So the red here is carnelian, which is like a translucent red precious stone. This was the inner coffin made of solid gold. I think it weighed about 110 kilos. Wow, look at the beads, like the bead necklaces or collars around his neck. That was probably added later on. And then Hathor, represented as a cow. She was the goddess of a lot of things, like celebrations, music, love. But she was also the goddess of the West, representing the afterlife, because the west side of the Nile was considered the land of the dead, and the east side was the land of the living. She was placed in front of Tutankhamun's canopic shrine. She's basically welcoming the king into the afterlife. And this is the canopic shrine. And yeah, here the lungs, the stomach, the intestine, and the liver were kept in those 4 jars. Oh my god, is that a blanket? Oh. This is the mummification linen. But there you go. That literally wrapped the mummy. This still looks soft after how many years? Over 3,300 years. And outside the door of the burial chamber of Tutankhamun stood these 2 1.9 meter statues, which people call the sentinels. And they stood to protect the king. Look at that, they're ready to smite someone with that stick right there. These guys are very ominous. I remember seeing the black and white photo of this in the book that my dad gave me. Their skin's black because of ancient Egyptians believed that black was the symbolic of fertility, since the very fertile Nile soil is black. Couches, lion, cow, and hippo. Don't know why he had 3. Oh my god. Yeah, this is the moment I've been waiting for. The golden mask of Tutankhamun, probably the most valuable historical artifact in the world. Made of gold, weighs about 10.23 kilos, inscribed with scriptures from the Book of the Dead on the back. Previously they thought it was made of one piece of solid gold, but recent X-ray and microelectroscopy discovered that they're actually multiple pieces welded together with microscopic precision. The face is about 97% gold, 97 to 98, and it's obviously softer, more pure, so it gives off this beautiful warm glow, which represents the divine flesh of the gods. And the headrest, which is meant to be more strong, was 92% gold, so it was mixed with aluminum and nickel, I think.
Across the shoulders and down the back runs spell 151B from the Book of the Dead, written to protect his head and neck for safe passage into the afterlife. The mask is inlaid with lapis lazuli, carnelian, and turquoise, each chosen for its divine meaning. The deep blue stripes on the Nemes headdress represent the heavens, while the eyes, carved from obsidian and white quartz, catch light like they're alive. The braided false beard links the boy king to Osiris, god of the afterlife. Tutankhamun was more than a mortal. He was a bridge between man and God. The golden mask was a face not meant for living, but for eternity.
On the back of the mask are 12 columns, vertical columns. Oh my god, this is the throne.
The Boy King's dagger is made of iron. During his reign, ancient Egyptians did not have the ability to smelt iron. This blade was not forged on Earth. It is made of meteoric iron that fell from the sky. The Boy King treasured this weapon as it was quite literally a gift from the gods.
He took the throne at age 9, I believe, and died at age 19. And during those 10 years, he reigned Egypt. And so he was a pharaoh, he was a king, so he had access to chariots and gold. And I don't know how they fit all of this into that tiny tomb. It's incredible. And why more than one? Why, like, how many? 6? Why 6? They truly believed in the afterlife, and they knew they should not spare any expense so that he's, lives in peace and happiness in the afterlife. And these are boomerangs for catching birds. Can you believe that? There's so many of them. So they provided him. I mean, if one breaks, they have to give him another. So they gave him 200 or whatever, 100, I don't know. They gave him a lot. That was probably his favorite right there, the blue one.
It is absolutely mind-blowing what they packed into the little tomb for him to enjoy in the afterlife. Food, wine, perfume, clothes, jewelry, board games, art supplies, furniture, some of which are foldable and portable, miniature boats, weapons and shields. This tomb is an absolutely incredible discovery.
Definitely got more crowded since I got here. Luckily I came early. It's packed with people. I'm happy actually because, people coming to see their heritage or people from across the world coming to see ancient Egyptian, Egyptian heritage. Pretty cool. Solar boats are actually in another building completely. And that's this building over here. And in between we have a beautiful sun-bathed statue. And we have a beautiful waterway decorated with the lioness god on either side. Holy crap. The world's oldest found intact boat. 4,000 something years old. I cannot believe this. It's cedar wood imported from Lebanon. So even back in those days they had globalization commerce. Incredible. Oh my god, I'm so glad they paid the 5 million to renovate this. So it was found in pieces, but everything, all the parts were intact. Oh my god, imagine being an ancient Egyptians on this thing. It's about 43.6 meters in length. That's about 143 feet. So it's big. It's real big. Oh my god, they even had a place to board right there. It was perfectly preserved. It was discovered completely dismantled into 1,224 separate pieces, restored over a decade, piece by piece, like a 4,600-year-old IKEA puzzle. So the Egyptians believed that every night the sun god Ra traveled through the underworld in a boat to be reborn at dawn. The king would join him after death, sailing across the sky in eternity. So this wasn't a real ship for earthly use. This was a spaceship, a cosmic vehicle, meant to carry the pharaoh's soul with the sun itself. They didn't build it to sail the Nile, they built it to sail the heavens. This technique of making ships and boats wasn't discovered for a very long time, but until modern wooden boat builders copied it thousands of years later. The front resembles a papyrus stalk symbolizing rebirth. The back is a lotus, symbol of the rising sun. Together, this is a physical manifestation of resurrection. This is gorgeous. This is one of the best things I've seen all year. Insane. Ancient Egyptian artisans were incredible, to some extent even more advanced than today. And as I'm about to exit the museum, again I have to say farewell to Ramses the Great. He reigned for 67 years and died at the age of 90 something and had over 100 kids or something. This guy was the greatest of them all. It's way more crowded now. Lots of people flocking through. Craze of ancient Egypt is real. I spent about 3.5 hours in the museum, and it's an absolutely incredible experience. From the building itself, the architecture, the design, it's like walking through like a chronological procession or movie that takes you back to like the different stages of and different eras of ancient Egypt. It's an absolutely incredible place. Good job, Egypt, for doing that. But as of today, if I spent any longer in that museum, I would have turned into one of the mummies there. Until next time, Grand Egyptian Museum. I don't know what that meant, but until next time, Grand Egyptian Museum, or should I call it the gem, because it is a real gem.